Okay, our Parasha. We will talk about Chanukkah, of course, and we will talk about the Parasha. First of all, the story of the Parasha. In the book of Bereshit, we have a lot of dreams, and it's very interesting. Actually, the last week, in my spare time in quarantine, I tried to understand a little bit about the dreams. So many dreams, and it's very interesting. Abraham, God spoke to Adam, to Noah, to Cain. To them, He didn't speak in dreams. And to Abraham, most of the time it was not dream. I think once it was in a dream. And to Yaakov, almost 3 times he spoke with the dreams. And to Yosef last week had 2 dreams, and last week we had another 2 dreams of the 2 ministers of Paro. And our parasha starts with 2 dreams of Paro. So it's very interesting. So many dreams, and I didn't find explanation about what is the difference, why sometimes it's with a dream, sometimes with not. But it's beautiful. The dreams and the explanations of the dream, it's very, very interesting. So our parasha starts with Paro waking up. First of all, dreaming the 2 dreams. What are the dreaming that he's dreaming? First dream is about 7 cows, 7 fat, good cows that going up from the, I would say, Niles? Yes, something like that. The river in Egypt, yes. And they standing in the ground near the river, and then another 7 cows going out from the water. But those cows are very how you say, yes, thin, not healthy. Why you all on mute? It's not me, I did it, not you did it yourself. It's very nice. And then the small cows, the very thin cow, thick, I would say thin cows, eating the other cows, and then he wakes up. This is first dream. Second dream is about same thing, but not with cows, with wheat. Yes, 7 crops. How you say in English? Something like that. 7 crops. So I think crops. It's a good word. Of wheat going out from the ground near the Niles again, and they good, they healthy, they big. And then another 7, but the opposite, not nice, weak, not fat, and they eating the fat ones, and you will not notice that they ate so much. They stay the same. He dreaming 2 dreams, and then he's calling all the ministers that will explain to him what is the meaning of the dreams. And the Torah said that no one understood the meaning of the dream, but the Torah not telling us that they are everybody. Pharaoh, as we will learn, had a lot of advisors. You know, good king is king that have advisors, and he had a lot of Egyptian. We know that they were very, very smart people. They were not simple. And they tried to explain to Pharaoh the meaning of the dreams. And the Torah said that they are not succeeded, but our sages telling us that they told Pharaoh few explanations. 7 daughters that he will have, and 7 daughters will die. 7 kingdoms you will fight, and 7 kingdoms you will lose. And Pharaoh didn't like all the explanations. And then, as continued to last week's story, one of the ministers telling Paro, 2 years ago, I was in jail. And then I had a dream. And Chaim left. And in the dream, it was very interesting dream, and I told it to someone. One slave from jail. Chaim, you with us?
Yeah, I don't know, something was wrong.
Yeah.
I got connection.
So he telling Pharaoh, I had a dream, and one slave, Hebrew slave, explained to me what will happen, and exactly what he said happened. So Pharaoh said, call this guy up. So they cleaning Yosef, he's changing his clothes, and he coming to Pharaoh, and then he telling Pharaoh the meaning of the dream. What is the meaning of the dream? The meaning of the dream is that 7 years you will have a lot of food, like the 7 cows, and the same thing with the 7 wheat crops, and after that will come 7 years of hunger. No wheat from the ground, no animals to eat, and they all coming from the water that we understand. It's all connected. There will be also no water. And then it's very interesting, and I will talk about it in a short way. I will try it will be a short, but it's an amazing idea that the Rebbe telling us, by the way, that we will understand the story and understand it according to Rashi. As I said a few times, the Rebbe have a lot of explanations about the great master of explaining of Torah. It's Rashi, and the Rebbe have a lot of explanation on the explanations of Rashi. Now Abraham left us. So let's see if he will come back. I will ask you a question. First of all, before the question, Yosef telling the explanation of the dream, and then telling Paro why the dream is twice. Because God wants to tell you that He will do it quickly. It's starting now. God wants to tell you it's quick. It will happen right away. That's why it was twice. Okay. And then Yosef adding very strange thing. Yosef explaining Paro what he needs to do. Now you need to start collect food and save it to the 7 years. Yes? Now let's think about it. Yosef is a slave, was in jail. He didn't get out from jail. Paro just called him because he heard he's a great guy. He asks you what is the explanation of the dreams. You explain the dreams. Very nice. Why are you telling Paro what to do? Now Pharaoh start collecting. What are you talking about? Pharaoh is the king. He have advisors. He will know what. He will decide what to do. Why you telling Pharaoh what to do? He doesn't stop after explaining the dreams. He start telling Paro you need to do to save food for the next 7 years. What are you talking about? You don't. It's not your place. It's not your place. What do you think about it? This is one question. It's a little bit strange. He's a slave. Pharaoh is the king. It's not his place. And I will ask you, I think it's much more stronger question, and I want to hear you, maybe your ideas. If I will tell you those two stories, and I will tell you they coming to Paro at night, what will be, if we will look into details of the dreams, what will be the explanation if we will believe that we need to explain the dreams? What will be the explanations? 7 daughters? No. 7 kingdoms? No. All the dreams, if you look into the details, connected to food and to survival, to growth, the water, the wheat, the cows, fat cows, and circles of food is 1 year. If we're talking about wheat growing and then so seven crops of wheat, it's 7 years. They being eaten. It's 7 years of good food, then 7 years of hunger. The same thing with cows. And they going out from the water, meaning it will not be water. And this is the I think, if we're thinking about it, it's not so smart idea of Yosef. It's pretty the obvious idea. The question is not about Yosef, how he came to this amazing idea. The question is about the advisors of Paro. Why would you tell Paro other ideas? They telling Paro, you would have 7 daughters, new 7 daughters, and then 7 daughters will die. How you came to see from this dream 7 daughters will come or not, or go? And what about kingdoms? What is the connection? The answer of Yosef is the obvious answer. This is 2 questions about the story of Yosef giving the Paro the advice. First question is why he start telling Paro after explaining the dreams what to do. Second question, what's so smart about the answer of Yosef? What do you think? It's a normal question? It's a good question? Yes? No, not so much? Okay.
Well, he was answering or he was advising because he's a Jew. You know, Jewish people always, whether they ask us or not, we like to give advices. So probably he felt responsible.
Yeah, you're right. First of all, you're right.
Yes, even a slave, so Jewish mind is working.
But he's not stupid, to tell the king advice. If it's not your place, it's very dangerous,
Well, if it's a good advice, probably
can,
sort of evaluate it quite highly.
But what about the question about the explanation of the dream?
Well, first, 7, it's like this Sheva, yes? All things in 7, it's like cycle. Many things are, yes, going by Sheva cycle, so probably it's deeper meaning.
7 years. It's the obvious. It will not be 7 weeks or 7 months. It will be 7 years. It can be 70 years, but there is no reason to say it's 70. It's 7 years in circles of food. So it's pretty obvious, I think. Not obvious, but when we're thinking about the details, this will be the explanation. Okay. I said I would say it in short, but Rashi. So first of all, let's do like that. In the Midrash, there is a lot of explanations what the advisors of Paro told Paro. Explanations of the dream, very strange explanations. Rashi choosing to bring on the Torah only those 2. 7 daughters you will have and 7 daughters you will die, and 7 kingdoms you will fight and 7 kingdoms you will lose. And the Rebbe asking why. why he choosing to bring only those two, and of course the two first questions that I asked. And the Rabbi explaining very simple explanation. Everybody heard the dream of Paro. Everybody understood that the obvious answer would be about food, and it would be about 7 years. But they had difficulty, because in the dream the Torah say very specifically that Paro dreaming that the 7 cows standing and they eating, and then coming the 7 other cows and they standing together at the same time, and then the small, the tiny cows eating the big cows, and the same thing about the crops of wheat. So there is some period of time that they are together. And if we're saying it's 7 years of food, cannot be together. Either it's hunger or not. Either there is food or there isn't. So it must be, that's why the advisors of Paro said it must be something that can happen simultaneously. Paro was the biggest king in his time, and he can come out to a situation that in one period of time he's fighting 7 kingdoms, and at the same time he winning and he losing 7 kingdoms. He was the biggest, he was a very big king. The same thing about daughters. You know, Pharaoh had probably a lot of wives and women that he was with, and can happen in the same period of time that he having 7 daughters and he losing 7 daughters, God forbid. But can happen. That's why they told Paro it's something that happens simultaneously. That's why the Din said the obvious explanation about food. They couldn't say it because 7 years or there is food or there isn't. That's where the genius of Yosef came out. Yosef coming to Paro and telling him it is about food and it is about 7 years. But Yosef told Paro, you're missing the point. Why would God tell you the dreams? What will be? Why would God tell you? Because you are the king. You have the power to do something about it. So that's why God telling you the dreams. Why? He wants to tell you that the 7 years of how you say the opposite of hunger, I don't hear you.
I would say prosperity, probably.
Prosperity.
Prosperity, yeah.
Okay. 7 years of prosperity can happen in the same time of the 7 years of hunger. What does that mean? God wants you to start collecting food in the 7 years. So Yosef actually didn't give advice to Paro. He explained to him the meaning of the dreams. You asking how come the 14 cows standing right next to each other, if they are representing years, they're not in the same time. And the answer is because God wants you to collect food in those 7 years, and you will have in the 7 years of hunger the food from the 7 years of prosperity. So it means, so now we understand all the situation. Yosef was smart because he understood what everybody did not understood. He understood how come in the dreams the cows and the crops standing next to each other in the same time. And we also understand why he giving Paro advice. He giving Paro advice because this is part of the explanations of the dreams. Because they're standing next to each other, because God wants Paro to collect food in the 7 years of prosperity. And we understood why all the advisors of Paro did not get there, because this is to understand that God telling Paro also what to do is not only showing him what will be, he's showing him what he needs to do about that. I hope we understood that part. Now we will go to the next level of the story of the parasha. Paro seeing that God's wisdom is in Yosef's mind, and Yosef is very, very talented, and he is very special, and in making him the how you say in English, the second hand of Paro. I don't know. One second. I don't know. Vice king.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes, vice. Okay. Now Yosef becoming the vice king, and there is hunger not only in Egypt, there is hunger all over the world, and Yosef as a king and as collector of the food, all the food was collected by the king, and the king have all the food. Actually, Yosef has the food of all the world coming to Egypt to buy food. That's how Egypt was so rich. And they going to Egypt to buy food. Who coming to Egypt to buy food? The brothers of Yosef, as messengers from their father, coming 10 brothers. The younger brother of Yosef did not go, and they all coming to Yosef to buy food. They not recognizing Yosef. How come they're not recognizing Yosef? So our sage is telling us it was 22 years after Yosef left his home. Yosef left his home by the age of 17. Here he was 39 years old. He had a big beard. When he left home, he was without beard. That's what our sage is telling us. And how they didn't recognize his voice. So Yosef was speaking to his there was a person that translate everything that Yosef said. Yosef spoke in Egyptian, and they translated the language. That's how they didn't recognize Yosef. We will talk about this point also in the continuation of the story. Yosef is very hard to his brothers, very hard, interrogating his brothers, teasing them, and doesn't let them go so quickly. And he taking Shimon to prison, and they really sad about it. And they telling Yosef, he telling them if they want Shimon back, they need to come back again with their younger son Binyamin. That he is the older brother, the younger brother of Yosef himself, from mother and father. In the way getting back, they sing all their money that they paid. They sing the money again in their pockets. Yosef put the money back. They coming back to their homes, to the home of Yaakov. They telling Yaakov that if they want Shimon back, they need to take Binyamin. And Yaakov really not want them to take Binyamin. Binyamin is the only son that he have from Rachel, his beloved wife. So Yehuda telling Yaakov, as he was the king, as we learned, he was the king of the brothers, and telling Yaakov, I'm giving you my word, we will bring Binyamin back. They're coming with Binyamin. He really close to Binyamin. They sitting and eating, and he putting Binyamin by his side, and he how you say, he put brothers, each brother from father and mother together. As we remember, Yaakov had 4 wives, so he putting all the brothers together, and they like amazed. This person knows everything. He knows who is the oldest. He knows who is mother who, and Yosef telling them, I have my special cup telling me everything. That's what Yosef telling them. And he putting Binyamin next to him. He said he doesn't have a mother, and I also doesn't have a mother, so we will sit together. And then he's letting Shimon go, and Yosef putting his special cup in Binyamin's bag. In the way, the ministers of Yosef catching them and telling them, you stole Yosef's cup. And Yehuda said, no chance, we will not steal anything. And they're looking, and they're finding the cup in Yosef's bag. They're coming back, and Yosef telling them, I'm taking Binyamin to myself, you can go back. And then the parasha ends. In the peak of the story, we all in shock to know what will happen next, and it will happen next week. But this is the story of the parasha in very short. Now I want to talk about totally different topic. Not about the story, not about Yosef with his brothers. Maybe we'll talk about it next week when the story will end. And we will talk about beauty. Why are we talking about beauty? Because everything started, the story of Yosef started with beauty. Last week, the parasha said that Yosef was beautiful. The only male that the Torah said that he was beautiful is Yosef. He was a beautiful person, very handsome. Okay, but he was not only handsome. He was taking care about it. He did his hair. He was taking care about it, that he will stay handsome. And that's why Rashi tells us, that's why the wife of the minister of Potiphar last week that we learned, that the wife of the minister wanted to be with Yosef, it's because God showed them, Yosef, you don't need to take care about your beauty. You are natural. What you have from nature is good. Don't take care about it so much. So from that, we see something very interesting. We say every Shabbat in the sing that we're singing for the wives, Eshet Chayil, we sang in the end of the song, Sheker Achen veHevel Yofi. Beauty and all the things similar to that are lies, are not true. It's a lie. Why is it a lie? Because it's not telling nothing about the person. You can see someone beautiful, and you not know that if the baby will cry, if he will go out from the bed to take care about the baby or not. Doesn't matter that he's beautiful. You don't know anything about the personality. It's something that represents. It's something outside. It's not something inside. So this seems to be the general approach of Judaism to beauty. That it's a lie, it's not true, it's not representing anything. And Yosef, as we saw in our Parasha, because he took care very much about his beauty, so happened what happened, the story of with the wife of the minister of Potiphar. Why I'm talking about it? Because the Greeks that were fighting with the Jewish nation, all the nature of Hellenism, what we have today from Hellenism, what we have?
The beauty.
The beauty, the body, the sports, the taking care of the body. That was their approach. Yes, that was their. You are the human body is perfect. It's the best creature that we have, and it's beautiful, and we need to take care about it and everything. This is what they represent, and Jewish nation didn't believe in that. Was going to war. But this is from one side, and we see also from Yosef that we're saying that because he took care about his body too much, he had this strange story. But from the other side, we know that every one from our mothers, the Torah said specifically that they were beautiful. This was part of their character. They were beautiful. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. Also King Shaul, the first king of the Jewish nation. King David was beautiful. Yosef, the Torah said that he was beautiful. So if it's a lie, it doesn't telling us anything. So why the Torah need to talk about it? And we're not talking about Jerusalem and the land of Israel and the Beit HaMikdash, the Jewish temple, how we're describing in the Talmud so much that this was the most beautiful thing on earth, and the person that did not saw Horus temple was not seeing beautiful building in his life. So why are we talking so much about beauty? All the temple was built in a way of richness, of beautiful, of beauty. If it's a lie, why are we talking about it so much? Why we are different from the Hellenism? This is the question. And we will go back to Yosef. We asked, how come the brothers did not recognize Yosef? 11 brothers saw the king, speaking with him, arguing with him. So he was 22 years older. He had a beard, true. But how come you're not recognizing him? How are you not recognizing? 11 brothers standing and arguing with a person, and he was their brother. He did not did the plastic surgery. What was their problem? Why they didn't saw it? And he knew everyone. He recognized everyone. He had no problem with recognizing, and even though few of them were younger than him, and they probably also changed a lot in those 22 years, but he had no problem recognizing. They didn't recognize Yosef. Very strange, very strange. Avraham? So, someone have any idea? Someone? And the answer is so simple. It's very simple. The answer is like that. They will not believe, they didn't imagine that the king will be Yosef. Why? Even though he looks like Yosef, maybe. Couldn't be that he's Yosef. Couldn't be. It cannot be. It's not possible. It's not possible. The king of Egypt is Yosef. No, of course not. This is the answer. Maybe they saw a lot of things that they said, wow, he's really reminding of our brother Yosef, but it couldn't be Yosef. It's not Yosef. Period. This is the answer. It was not Yosef. Why? Let's understand it a little bit deeper. It couldn't be Yosef, not because they throw it into the ground. They throw Yosef, and he was a slave. Could be that he happens to he become a king. Not only because of that. After that, we will need to understand what is the connection about beauty and everything, and it will be very simple. The reason that they did not believe that the king is Yosef is because if we will learn a little bit the history of our fathers, they all were shepherds. They all were shepherds. Why they were shepherds? Because to be a shepherd means that you're waking up when the sun rising, you're going outside with your ships and everything, and you have your how you call it, you know the name, how you say it in English, how you say it in Russian? Flute. In English, flute. In Russian, it's. I will tell you 1 second how it's in Russian.
Dudka.
Fluta.
Flute. It's something to blowing.
Yes, flute. Yeah, so you're going out and you're singing, and you're going with your Tehillim. You're going with your Tanya, with your Torah. You're reading, you're learning. You see the mountains. You're feeling the wind. And this is your day. You're giving them food, everything, calm. This is your work. You're not concerning with working in the ground, in planting and all the things. No, you have very calm life. The life of a shepherd is a calm life, and it's about being close to God. It's about being close to God. They wanted to learn and to pray and everything, and this is their life. That's why they were shepherds. You know that this is very, very. There is a lot of Hasidic nigunim, melodies that they are coming for shepherds, non-Jews shepherds. There is a very, very famous song. I'm sure few of you know the song, the melody called "The Lonely Shepherd." It's not Jewish. It not becomes Hasidic, but it's very famous song. And there is in Hasidic melodies shepherd song. Why? Because the shepherds were people that were close to God. They all day sitting and singing and learning and praying. That's why our fathers were shepherds. What is the deeper meaning of that? The deeper meaning of that, it means they didn't know a life that you waking up in the morning thinking about money, going to sleep thinking about money, eating breakfast thinking about money. They didn't know that a Jew can live a life in the city, let's call it, can live in the city and be a Jew. They didn't know such a thing. If you are a Jew, if you want to be a Jew, go be a shepherd. Yosef, from the beginning, did not saw Judaism like that. When he dreaming dreams about being a king, he's not dreaming about all the ships bowing to his ship. He's dreaming about wheat. Why? Because he was man of work. You're not supposed to be a Jew in the mountains, in the fields. You're supposed to be a Jew in the city. That was his vision of Judaism. And then he became the king. And he stayed Jew in all his heart as a king of Egypt. And they, as Jews, did not believe that Yosef, as a Jew, can stay a Jew and to be the king of Egypt. He had so much work to do, to collect all the money and to buy and sell, and he changed the whole economics and everything of the world. They were control of the economics of the world in a short time. So how he is Yosef? Can't be. Joseph is a Jew, and he will stay a Jew. He will be shepherds, and this is it. And Yosef, that's why maybe they had some signs that he looked like Yosef. I will tell you more than that. Yosef looked like his father, like Yaakov. So basically, they sing a person with a beard. He looks like their father. Not only like Yosef, like their father. And they're saying, it's so funny. The king of Egypt looked like Yaakov, our father. It's so funny. Why? Because they cannot believe that a Jew can be a Jew with a life in the city. And
The brothers is thinking that they spoke directly with Pharaoh.
With Yosef was the device of Pharaoh. He was almost Pharaoh. He was the highest person in Egypt except Pharaoh. In Hebrew, there is a term. I don't know if there is in English. Term Mishneh LaMelech. Mishneh LaMelech means vice king. It's almost a king, but vice.
President.
Yes, vice president, but vice king. Yeah. So what is the connection between that to Chanukkah, to the Hellenistic? Yosef was on the line. He was taking care of his beauty because he knew that we need to use the gifts that we have to be more strong in our Judaism. If we are beautiful, we need to take care about it. And why? Because maybe through that we can achieve something more in Judaism. And if we are good, we drawing good, or I don't know, every person with his specialty, with his special talent, he need to use that to be more Jewish and to spread the word of God in the world. If you are a very good drawer, how you say drawer?
Yes.
Painter. If you are a good painter, paint. Don't be a shepherd. Paint. Why? Because then you can spread more Judaism in the world. The Hellenistic way was the opposite. You use your powers to yourself, to make yourself bigger. And this is the problem. If we have talent, we don't need to use it for our benefit. We need to use it to the world's benefit, to God's benefit. We need to use everything that we got because God gave it to us. And we need to use everything that God gave us because He gave it for a reason, for use. But not to the use of ourselves. To the use of something bigger, something greater, something that will change the world to the best. And this is the connection between the story. Elena, I see that you need to go from your face. Yeah. Okay. Good evening. It was nice seeing you.
So there are bar.
Bakasha.
Like, also everyone. Yeah, I have a appointment.
Yeah.
Sorry for
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Let's see. Sorry, Rabbi, I just asked next week 7:30.
Yes, yes, because my daughter going to sleep at 7. So I need to start 7:30.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just to plan other things.
When I'm not in quarantine, I can go outside from the house. But now I need to stay here. I need to wait that she will go to sleep.
7:30. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
תודה רבה.
בבקשה. So this is the connection between Chanukkah to the story of Yosef with his brother. The whole reason that the brothers, 11 brothers, looking at a person that look like their father, reminding them of their brother, and they will not believe that he is their brother, is because can't be. Yosef is a Jew, and he was strong in Judaism. They knew that they're not persons that will change their life. They were strong in their Judaism. So, of course, he's not the king. But Yosef looked in their eyes and said, I am your brother Yosef. I did not change anything, because when I dreamt in young age, that I will be a king and I will stay a Jew and everything, it was true. A Jew need to go outside, he need to use all his talent, but to the benefit of God. And this is the word in Chanukkah. And in Chanukkah, it's coming very, very strong, because many things that the war of Chanukkah was about land, about property. And Yehuda the Maccabee, was a very big minister of war. I don't know how to say it. He was very, very tactical person, and it was all true. But when the Jewish people start the war, they started the war when the Greeks intervene in their Jewish life, not when they occupied the land. They started the war because Jewish people know that they need to fight to the oil. What is the oil? The oil, it means the material that the Jewish people have, the material that, oil can mix in everything. We're mixing oil in every food that we eat. We don't want to, but we do mixing, because you have no choice. Oil is oil, but oil will always stay separate. You will put oil and try to mix it with water, you will not succeed. Oil cannot be one with the thing that you're putting it on. It can mix, but it will not be one. And this is the power of Yosef. He can mix in Egypt, he can be the king of Egypt, but he will not become one of them. He will stay Jewish. And this is the Chanukkah. Chanukkah is holiday of oil, because this is the same thing. We need to mix. We need to mix with the world. We need to be one with the world. We need to work. We need to succeed at work. We need to be part of it. But we need to stay separate, like oil. Oil, you can put it in a salad, but you pour water in the salad, the oil will go up. Would say, no, I was here, but I can always go. I'm not one with the salad. I have my own quality. I have my own mission in the salad. Yes, this is oil. Oil knows to stay separate and to know to mix. And this is the Jewish power, and this is what we learn from Yosef, and we learn from the Maccabee, from the holiday of Chanukkah. And this is, by the way, why we celebrating the miracle of Chanukkah. We had two miracles of Chanukkah. We have miracle that we won the war, and the miracle of oil. Why are we not doing anything about the miracle of winning the war? Only the miracle of the oil, the Chanukkah. Because the Chanukkah reminding us what was the miracle of the war all about. The miracle of the war was about the oil, the light, about Torah, about mitzvot. So the miracle of the Chanukkah reminding us that when we fight about light, we fight about oil, about the Jewish way to stay Jewish in every circumstance, even though they will mix until the end in the world. And this is what we can learn from Yosef, as I said earlier. Thank you very much.